At this point, we have a basic draw command, but we don't have 3D data, and we haven't looked at what that ends up looking like. But before I get into that, let's do a little bit of house cleaning. Before, when I had an error in my loop, it had kind of some nasty error spews. So what I'm going to do is basically save the output of the frame. And if I have an error here, so try catch my error. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do loop, and I believe it's .cancel. And then throw that error. That way I get a nicer message in my console whenever I inevitably screw things up, like I am right now. So hopefully if I type something incorrect, it now cancels my loop and spits out my message, which is much nicer than having it continually hit that error message over and over again. A little bit of housekeeping, but that's kind of nice to have. But moving on, we don't have any data yet. So I need to pull in a bunny. There's a NPM module to pull in a bunny, and I'm going to throw a debugger statement here. And then in my console, let's go ahead and switch sides here, I'm going to type bunny to see what that looks like. And you can see here I have positions and cells. So the positions are the individual data of where the triangle is going to be, and the cells make up the order that those go in to build the model. So now that we know what we're looking at, I need to change up my attributes to use my bunny.positions. And instead of count, I'm going to pass in elements, which is my bunny.cells. And hopefully if I do that right, oh yeah, and then now my position right here, if I go up into my vertex shader, my position is defined as a vec2. We'll go ahead and I'm going to delete this time stuff as well. We'll go ahead and change it to a vec3 position, and then change this into passing that in easier. So when I save, now you're going to see, well, the bunny doesn't really show up yet because it's off the screen. So let's shrink it down a little bit so you can see it. So now you can see we have a bunny, but it's not really it's not very useful. It's not 3D yet. It's kind of smushed and skewed on the screen. So the next thing we need is a camera, and you have lots of different options here. One module that's nice is this perspective camera. And if you go in here to the snippet, we can start copying some of these and play around with it. So let me go up here, and I const everything. So just to be consistent, const create camera, and then I'll go ahead and create one. We'll keep these defaults because they look pretty sane. The viewport width and height, let's be lazy. And set them that way. You could use regl, but I'm lazy right now. This is good enough. We have a near and far value, and then the next snippet is to translate it and look at something and update it. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll translate it to be X, Y, and Z. We'll move back 2 values, let's say, and then look at the center and then update the camera. So what we need to end up doing after this is there's another property called the projection view matrix, which is the actual matrix we're going to use. And so we're only going to set this up once and not do anything too crazy with it. And then go here to the uniforms, and we'll do that same name. Actually, I'm going to type it out, projection view, and we're going to set it up to the camera.proj view. And then we'll pass that in uniform mat4 projection view, and we will multiply those together. And we still can't see anything yet, so we don't have it in view quite well enough yet. So we'll back it up, back it up, and then move it up a bit, and then look up a little bit, slowly getting in at this. And let's do a little bit more dramatic back up. Cool. So now you can see we have a camera, we can look at the bunny rabbit and start to interact with it a little bit more and play around with values. And the next video will take that and push on a little bit more and make it look a little bit more like a real bunny.